Did you ever find that when you were first filming like bits of parkour, like were you conscious of like, oh, this isn't perfect yet? Because like now you've got quite a polished like product. Like you guys, like you work as a team. There's like a system, and like your videos are really good now. But
Hmm.
like, were you ever concerned about that? Like, oh, that's not really cool. Like,
I guess the weird thing is that that almost is reflected in the current era, and it's like that's something that you need to battle, not battle, but you need to work with within yourself. Because I feel like when you said we're more established now, but I also feel like that play can also play to your not downfall, but your insecurities. You know,
mhm.
because a lot of people who are successful or they've done this thing or whatever, people look up to them for that. They are now going to have this image of themselves that they have to, you know, maintain this level of success. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's quite can be quite unhealthy. Like, and also can take away from your true enjoyment of it. Do you know what I mean? And your true love for doing it when you're allowing your opinion of yourself to be constructed by someone else, then you kind of lost the thing, isn't it? Because you're now working for someone else instead of yourself. And if you work for yourself, that's when you can get the best outcome, I think.
Mm. Yeah, like so many people. It must be frustrating. Like I always think that with like bands and stuff. Like I heard a like interview from like someone that was in Arctic Monkeys, and they were like when they play their old stuff, they almost feel like a tribute band of themselves. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of musical artists in particular, like the fans, like hate new stuff, like keep doing the old stuff or like release the same like tracks and the same
Mhm.
kind of albums again and again. And like then people get bored of you because they're like
Yeah.
haven't done anything new, but it's like, man, you literally criticized us for our new stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can't you can never win because there's always going to be someone who's wants the old days or wants the nostalgia or this and that, and that's why you've got kind of obviously you're going to do stuff for the fans and the people who support you because that's good, but you've also got to do things for yourself, like for your own growth, and then when you develop a new style or a new thing, maybe people will like that, but if they don't, then fair enough. It's like I
Well,
feel
it's like
like
these people produce work, and like yourself, you produce work over 10 years. Are you going to be the same person? Like, is everyone like I think of myself 10 years ago? I'm nothing like I was then. Like,
uh,
can you expect someone to be that same person?
exactly, yeah, and I guess it really depends on your mindset because obviously with neuroplasticity, like science now realize that you can change all these characteristics and things about yourself no matter how old you are. Really, if you put in enough work, you can change. Whereas before, people thought that once you had these characteristics, these capabilities, you're just set with them for life and you can't change them. But now that's completely false. So, like you
Yeah,
said, in 10, 15 years, 20 years from now, I'm going to be probably a completely different person. I would have shed my skin and then just changed pretty much.
yeah.
So
Wow,
yeah.
that's really positive. Like, that's a positive outlook to have, especially with like how quick the world goes. Like with
Mhm.
technology, with all everything. I'm not saying you have to be like up to date with everything, but like in our lifetimes, we're gonna have to adapt to so much, especially with like climate change and stuff coming in. Because what's happening right now will happen. Like similar things like this will happen because of climate change. Like in terms of this panic, like this lockdown. Like it's scary to say, but in our lifetimes, I'm fairly confident that there's going to be government issued restrictions on the way we live that will
Yeah,
cause.
yeah. But that's the weird thing is like I do feel like I don't want to say any kind of controversial opinions or I don't want to belittle anything that's been mentioned in this whole thing, but like I do feel like the way in which people have been fed the information or told the information has scared them, and then obviously being in fear is going to make you sick anyway. So it raises cortisol, stress hormones, and then you're probably going to get really sick and ill anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're scared and you're living in fear, it's nothing really good becomes of that. You just obviously the fight or flight, and it's good to have that fear sometimes or to know when something's not right, but you should also be able to think about it from a clear head or a clear perspective and not let your fear delude you to the level of being maybe too scared, you know?
Yeah, we had a trainee psychologist for our second conversation on here, and she made a really nice point. She was like, keep up to date, look at the news or whatever, like once a day, just so you can be like, okay, they've lifted lockdown, or no, we're being on lockdown again. We should be concerned about this, and then put it off. I think too many people are literally sat glued to like news feeds and to like the news on TV, and
Yeah.
that will make you shit yourself because you hear about every single person that's died, even though people die every day because of like
Of course, yeah, that is the thing. Like the whole thing about the statistics and the numbers is the whole comorbidity thing about how like obviously a lot of the people who have died from this virus are people who already had really bad underlying health conditions and they were on their last legs. Obviously, it's very bad that the virus has come along and it's killed people, but it's also like a common thing. You know what I mean?
Mate, I just saw like a little notification came off my laptop that Boris Johnson's been taken into like intensive care.
Oh Jesus, really?
Yeah, and literally just as we were talking about 20 minutes ago,
Fair enough.
a
Wow.
little came up. Like that's gonna cause mad panic if that guy dies. Like people
That
are
would
gonna.
be weird as hell. Yeah, fair enough. Like if he goes from it, then I don't really know. Then my whole point I just mentioned then is completely void.
I get your point. Like
You know,
I think the same
for
thing.
sure, right? There's definitely something about that, and it's like I do think that it's definitely something you need to take seriously, and you need to look out for. But you shouldn't let yourself be thrown into fear by this panic. You know what I mean? Because a panic it's not going to help you.
No, I've been at home. Like, I've only left my house like twice. I went to the shop a couple of times with my family. But yeah, apart from that, I have been like chilling and focusing on what I can control.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
like another person we had on a personal trainer, and she was like a big part of her job is like focusing on what people can control. Like you can control your mental health and your mindset through things like your nutrition, making sure you do certain things each day. Like that stuff that she works with all the time with her clients. But she was like, it's so applicable now because
Definitely.
you shouldn't worry about all that stuff on the news all the time. Because if you stay home and you look after your family, there's like a whole range of things that you can control.
Exactly. Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. Like that the personal trainer said, movement is obviously going to be one of the most things that's going to give you the right chemicals and that feel good and lift anxiety, and any kind of flow or movement that you're doing is going to help you to feel better, especially in this situation. So exercise is probably one of the most crucial things that you can do, or walking or moving, even if it is in the house. Like motion is lotion, and that's what's going to give you that good feeling. It definitely has an impact on your psychology.
Massive stick in my garden, and it's like doing a bit of lifting. Feels good. Like you don't need
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
gym weights and stuff. Just find something heavy and like lift that up and down a few times, or like do some like star jumps or something.
Percent